Hello, folks. Reverend Crystal Cox here, Universal Church of Light. And this is a video to update my congregation members and my pastors as to some of the projects we've been working on. Okay, so we're finalizing the pastor letter of support for those who are, I can't say this on YouTube, but we're finalizing your exemption letters. Let's just call it that. And your religious rights, helping you to, actually I'm going to put this on YouTube so I forgot, so I'm using my words. Anyway, we're doing the pastor's letters of support for you to file with your employer to seek exemptions from certain things in life. Wink, wink. And we are sending out example letters of exemption with laws in your state. And we are doing it for various countries, such as Australia, Canada, Ireland. And we, by we on that, I mean, I'm finalizing that. A lot of stuff come at me kind of quick, and I got to get all my ducks in a row before I finalize the letter for you guys to get to your employers. And those of you who are my congregation members, I will be messaging you on that soon. You can email me at reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. And if you know what I'm talking about and you want a letter with the sincerity of your religious belief, and anyway, we'll leave it at that. You can research the rest of that. If you want a support letter or to understand more how to do that within our congregation of our church, email me at reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. For those of you who don't know, my church is called Universal Church of Light. We also are a limited liability company, a nonprofit out of Washington State, and my other name associated with it is Bringing Back Goddess Church. And sometimes I just say Goddess Church because that's my personal non-incorporated church. Confusing? Yeah, a little bit. So I have congregation members in my church in several countries, and I am formalizing a whole lot of different programs and things for you folks to do fundraisers, and for you who want to do fundraisers in your area as pastors with our church. I am finalizing the pastor agreements for the different countries and states. You'll have to sign an agreement with us that you accept our doctrine, and not my personal beliefs or doctrine, but the doctrine of the church. And again, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com, and I can get you more information on that. So we're having pastors all around the world, and for people that tell you maybe you can't do that, okay, so there's Universal Life Church out of Seattle, and they've been doing it for a very long time. There's a lot of case law on it, but when you look up laws of the church, and what is a church, right? You're a church, so you can start your own church by just saying I'm a church. I incorporated because I'm going to do a big project, and I got a lot of different things going on, a lot of pastors, and I'm in buildings and liability, so I did it for a different reason. But you have two or more people, so you have 3 people in your house. You have a belief system. Okay, even atheists that don't have a belief system are protected under the Constitution with religion. Okay, so if you're a few people in a house, you pray once a week, once a month, once a year, you have any sort of spiritual thing at all, you qualify under religious discrimination stuff. Okay, also, if you're an atheist and don't believe in God, then that's your religion, and these are constitutional laws. But you have to say, I'm a church. So you don't have to incorporate to do it. You just say, I'm a church. Okay, then you set up your church articles or your church bylaws, what your government's going to go by, your church doctrine, and then you're a church, and then you don't have to pay property tax, okay? Because they took away church. They took away God from everybody, right? They made it a product of the state. No. How the Constitution reads, and I'm not giving you legal advice, it's just my experience, is that you are a church. You have 2 people. You have 2 to 3 people. You're, regularly praying or doing something spiritual. You're protected. But even if you don't have a religion, you're protected. So research what is a church, what are the legal rights of church, the constitutional law in church, and become a church. Okay? You can have your own church and then also be a part of my church. The benefit of being part of my church is that I am a nonprofit and we can do fundraisers all over the world. So I think what I said former about doing fundraisers and stuff, you can do as a church. And there's church law on that too, so look that up. So you can do everything without it. I chose to do it. And some people say, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't incorporate because then the state controls. You know, the state doesn't, it's a competent licensing board, something, anyway, I can email you. You can email me. I'll send you some laws on that. You can research that. But basically, you are still protected. Your spiritual belief, your sacred religious belief, and even not having one, they can't discriminate against, okay? So what's happening now with everybody, it's a big old coming to Jesus party, isn't it? Everybody's flocking into their churches in every direction, right? For their, you can't talk about on this site. So I think that's beautiful in a way because they're learning their rights. And they're learning that the church is its own governing body. The church, just like the sovereign individual, is not, the government has no rights over them. Okay? The queen, like coming in and taking the land, like all the Forest Service land in Canada is called Queen land. You know, the United States Forest, all this stuff's owned by foreign entities, right? They chop down our trees and they send them to China. They let forest fires burn. Like there's a big one tonight. Oh, I don't know what's going on. The Sequoia National Forest around there, some of those big trees are getting ready to burn. Those are about 6,000 years old. And tree entities, oh my gosh, check out Brian Scott tree channeling stuff. Information on what the trees are communicating with people is so amazing. And I've been communicating with trees my whole life, but this is a whole new level. Trees at Mount Shasta, it's just amazing. So those sequoias may be leaving. I forget why I went on that tangent. But anyway, you have rights as a sovereign individual with your religion. You have religious protection, which means you're even protected to have no religion at all. Okay? So research your laws. But those of you who are working with us, we're doing pastor agreements for pastors in other areas, and we're doing fundraisers together under our nonprofit to help people in their area and to help people here. So, but mostly in their area, kind of like 70-30. So we'll do a fundraiser, we'll help with marketing and stuff online, do a certain amount of stuff, but mostly, you keep 70% of it, and you go and you feed your homeless, and you house your homeless, and you help domestic violence victims, and you help anyone that you can find that needs help to where God, Jesus, the Great Spirit, Goddess, all that is, leads you in your forever now as you walk with the power of the living God. Because the power of the living God is every single moment of every single day. The power of the living God is in you and me all the time, and it is every single moment of every single day. It is not the afterlife. It is not the pearly gates to be judged. It is the here and the now, the living God. When you're present within the living God and you're present in the moment, the Spirit will lead you to where you need to be, and you will know where money, not just money to, let me give money to this fundraiser. Let me give money to this homeless shelter. Let me give money. No. We find the actual person in the street that could freeze to death or starve to death, and we get them the food with our people in our group. We don't give it to Red Cross and all these corrupt groups. We get it to the person where $5 can keep them alive another month. I've seen it. Any kind of hope of a cup of coffee, even once for the month. And you can milk a cup of coffee, right? Keep you warm all day. You can, if you have one cup of coffee, you can also, kind of fake it and then do free refills and to keep from freezing to death, okay? Any sort of money, shoes, clothes, when you're led to someone that's on the brink, right? Traumatized, victimized, where you're helping people, not just helping people in need or helping groups that pay other people to help pay other people to help, that you're directly helping people and yourself, okay? And we have fundraisers, so possibly you and your own family suffering will do a fundraiser for your family with you as a pastor in agreement with our church. But you have to get your community going and market it to where this is a fundraiser for your family and kind of why, you know, get that kind of hype going. And so this is what we're doing to help the pandemic, to help those in need. But the structure of my church and my plan, I started in 2014, and it's always been, and I've always had several pastors in different locations associated with my church. And so also there is a, my name is Reverend Crystal Cox. I have that also as a DBA. And then I filed with the IRS. Not that taxation is theft. I don't believe in any of that. But I got in that system. I filed, I forget the number of the form. Again, if you email me, I can give you that. I filed that form, and then I don't pay self-employment tax. And I kind of swear off the system. Okay? And that took many months to get through. And I got that, I think, around that same time. I got my DBA in 2012. But I've been doing my ministry my entire life, but under this structure. And I wanted, I'm into goddess studies. And so Bringing Back Goddess Church is a name I chose for that reason. But it was also because we had a non-denominational Christian church that was our brother church, and it was called Bringing Back God Church. So it was kind of a compliment, and he's an evangelistic fire and brimstone preacher. He's a good man. We don't agree on everything, but I'm an interfaith church, and we love each other. So, forgot what I was saying there too. Oh, so that was that name. And then Universal Church of Light is what many of you might choose. If you're Christian, you know, I don't know if your faith will even allow you to do this, you know, renegade thing, because we're interfaith, we're all denominational, we're interdimensional, and we're, you know, benevolent, and we're just helping people where we can. And so you might choose the Universal Church of Light. Or Bringing Back Goddess Church kind of breaks down to Goddess Church too. And so Universal Church of Light, you can use your Church of Light, you know, in your marketing, whatever you're most comfortable with. And we could get some other DBAs if you really have something that you really, really want to, you know, do or have a project. We have a whole bunch of programs and projects that we're setting up to do here eventually. Right now, what's going on in the world is God wins. Light wins, lights won. It's just the cleanup that we're witnessing. But the current phase, we don't really know how long it's going to go because it's quantum. Right? Mass consciousness, people have to come to it as they do and unwind their consciousness and their healing. And they're moving towards it, but it's not really there yet. So under a church, you can do a lot more than under the systems of man. More that fulfills your family, fills your heart, fills your passion, gives you the opportunity to do what you want in your life. Wander around, you know, go camp and go fish and go boat and go dance and go, you know, go do whatever you want to do that you're allowed to do these days without your, you know, we won't talk about it. And that's where God, where Jesus, where Mother God, Father God, where the living God will lead you to the people that really, really need you. You will be led in your own ministry. And you can do fundraisers along the way to support yourself as you go. And do the work of the living God in the moment, every single moment. And call out to Brother Jesus and Saint Germain. Call out to the goddess and the saints. Call out to the angels. Call out to the saints. Oh, Brother Jesus and Father God and Mother God and all benevolent beings, I ask that you bless anyone and everyone that ever hears this video on the sound and the resonance of my voice, wherever it is shown and shines. That you empower all individuals to remember the power of the living God in every single individual and untie from the demon overlords of the governments of man. Call upon the living God now. Blessings to all who hear this. If you aren't already talking to me and you want to be a congregation member, then you are. You just have to proclaim it. Just email me at Reverend Crystal Cox and proclaim it. And if you want to be a pastor with our church, you email me and I will set up an agreement that you sign to say you agree to the doctrine, and away you go. Okay? And I'm working with people now on letters of support, and I have written, bylaws when I first started and updated them various times. I have my bylaws and I have all my different doctrines of beliefs. And the main thing is going to be for you is that just the sovereignty of the individual pastors. So they don't have to adhere to my beliefs in any way. Hence, interfaith, all different faiths, all denominations, and whatever you're comfortable with, and not forcing that on anyone else. So the one rule is that we don't go up to someone like we're hanging out in like family dinners, like family of light dinners, and we don't be like, hey, you need to come to my God. My God's the only one that will get you and save you. Only my God and only my way, and guilt them and shame them and badger them. No, we don't do that. If you do that, you're out. We support people where they're at, and we give them tons of books and information for them to study and learn on their own. And then if they walk over to you and go, oh, hey, I heard you're a Catholic, I'd like to know about this. Or, oh, hey, I heard you're Jehovah's Witness, can you tell me about this? Or, oh, I heard you're Gnostic, tell me about that. Or I'm pagan, or anything. Can you teach me? If they come and ask you and want to know, but we don't preach to people. Okay, we just provide information. We're there if they want. We provide spiritual support on our common ground. Okay, without judgment and in sovereignty. And we do have exceptions to things and such. And you can read that in our bylaws, our doctrines, how we govern the church once, you're a pastor. Or, before, I don't know. Anyway, so what I was saying is that through the years I've done videos and writings on my doctrine, like, doctrine of Mother Earth, doctrine of God, doctrine of healing, doctrine of suicide, doctrine of death, doctrine of, all different things that I've written since 2004 ongoing to create the governing body of this church. And I'm really excited about this next level, and I'm really not excited about why we have to do these letters of support from a church for, what's going on in the world with your exemptions with your employers. But it's bringing us all together around the world, and it's making us understand we can't have religious rights. And they're going, you can't have religious rights. You're not sincere about your religion. Nobody gets to tell you that. And I'm going to do a video here a few days about that. I'm going to do a video about a lot of things. I'm going to do a video about all the different things I'm kind of putting in the support letter too, to help you guys understand more of what we're about and more about your laws and rights. And so there's that. God bless you all. Goddess bless you all. I am just, someone asked me today, when they found out what I do and stuff, they said, well, what do you think's going on with the state of the world? And I'm like, it's fabulous, right? I don't know if I use that word, but I'm like, this is so great. It looks really bad. I said, but I have known this stuff for decades. Okay, I am so elated. Oh my gosh, the indictment today, I'm elated. Because I am so elated because for decades I've been exposing this system, these people. I've been exposing this stuff, and I've been silenced and threatened and lost everything and spent 7 years living in a car, and I had, the biggest newspapers in the world demonizing me, and now it's all coming to light. So for me, what looks like chaos to other people is a relief to me. I'm like, we've made it. The people know. I was alone. There was only a few of us fighting it and coming at me every day, and I had to stay visible, even to stay alive fighting these same people. And now there's hundreds of millions of people around the world because of the great light uniter we won't mention on this channel. But you know who he is, right? Some call him Messiah. Some call him the sun. Some call him the moon. Anyway, more on that on my other channel. Oh, Reverend Crystal Cox on Rumble. I may or may not link it in this video. Probably won't, because I won't remember. I might remember. Oh, anyway, I digress. So on Rumble, I have Trump Gospel and I have Reverend Crystal Cox. And so I post on both of those if you can find them. Sometimes it takes me a while in there to find my own stuff, even so. But then again, you know, I seem kind of technical to some people back in my day because I was one of the first few people that were, you know, I had 5,000 blogs exposing corruption, and I was getting on top of search engines for everything. So I was kind of one of the first ones in that, and people were like, "You can't do that, you can't do that." And now the youngins, right? There's just so much information out there, and so much new technology, and so much I just can't even keep up, and nor do I want to. But they all have the equal rights. All citizens journalists, all whistleblowers, all investigative bloggers, all bloggers have equal rights to the highest paid journalists and the highest valued institutional press because of my court case, Obsidian Finance versus Cox. And that was my spiritual work. And that's when I leapt out of my life and lost everything and went into victim advocacy and went into my spiritual work. And I got messages from God in my case, from Jesus, from Archangel Michael, from Goddess. I got clear messages and laws on how to proceed and how to keep alive. And that has been over for a while. I mean, it's still trickling out. But the point is that I have been seriously dedicated to raising the consciousness of Mother Earth and her people my entire life. And no death threats, no offers of money, nothing that these attorneys and these people could do to me stopped me. I had incredible, Spirit told me the other night, you have had incredible conviction. And I was like, well, what? And I had to think about that. I have been through it and through it and through it. And all along, there was Jesus, right? There was Mother Goddess. There was Spirit. There was my guides. There was light coming at me. There was visions. There was animal messages. There was my constant, everyday ascended master, saint, spiritual advisor that I spoke to every day that lifted me up and up and up and up. And I did it. And I fought. And some called me Joan of Arc, and some called me crazy Crystal Cox. Some called me batshit crazy, tinsel hat crazy. The things I saw I could never talk about because you would never believe them. And all along I heard the voice of Spirit. And my spiritual mission has always been about Spirit, about God, about Jesus, and not man, not my own death, no one's death. I took a hard line. I could feel this giant king behind me, this lion, and all this energy all the time. And I said, no. And I stood up to just so many people, and I went through it and through it and through it, and I had every sector of society after me all the time. And that all lingers on the internet now. And I don't care. What do they say? I don't give a good goddamn what they think. I know God. I've seen it. I've died, I've been back, I've been on the other side of the veil. I don't answer to man. Okay? I live in the constant now of the living God. There's nothing they can do to me. I don't fear death. Okay? Become sovereign. Find your God. Find your beliefs that are not about other people. Who are you before someone told you who you were? Okay? Find your connection to Mother Earth, to the divine, to God, to Jesus, to Mother Mary, to whomever it is that your heart calls out to. Ground in that and claim your sovereignties and tell the evildoers where to go and how to get there. Okay? Because you are the power of the living God. I believe in the power of the living God, and I believe in you. All right, there's your update on the pastor agreements and the exemption letters and all that jazz. And I'll be talking to you folks soon. I love you. I love you. I love the love I'm getting from all of you that I interact with daily. And I love supporting you, and I love comforting you in this time. And I love that I know enough that you can go research to comfort you and give you a will to live and be happy as you're losing all your family members and everything you ever knew to be your way of life to stand up for your own convictions. I see you and I love you. And I try to get back to all of you and put love on everything you say. And anybody who goes, neat, 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 well, we throw them out. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? 12,000 people, one moderator. I don't think, ain't nobody got time for that. Just boom, gone. You're doubting, you're not believing, you're gone. You're slamming, you're gone. You're like, win, but you don't got the eyes to see everything that's happening, you're gone. Because I got too much going on. All right, well, I hope to hear from you guys. And those of you I'm already working with, I just know I'm working on it, and I will email you soon. One thing has led to another, and I have a lot of different things open that I'm going to be finalizing at once. So anyway, I guess I am going to load this on Rumble. Well, I don't even know now. I was like, could you see the smoke coming out of me thinking? Isn't this a beautiful painting? This was painted by Pastor Linda Lovett in Galway, Ireland. An amazing healer, ascended master, spiritual advisor, the one I was talking about earlier, and an amazing artist. So, yeah. All right. Well, God bless you all. Stay in touch with the power of the living God. Believe in the power of the living God in you every single moment. Stand in choice. Stand up for yourself. They're not going to give it to you. You got to claim it. You got to say, I am this or I am that. You got to invoke the living God law. You got to demand your religious freedom laws and rights. Even if you don't have religion, you have rights. Look it up. Look around your town. If there's 10 churches in your town, they're not paying property tax, but you are. But you're a church, but not unless you claim it. Blessings to you all. Bye for now.